Hey guys, Hamsterwheel here with a new video and welcome to episode 5 of the Classic Armory. Today we're going to delve into a spellcaster for the very first time. More specifically, the Horde Warlock. And while they do not benefit from a staff's DPS or attack speed, it's always nice to have something that matches your current level so you won't be running around as a level 25 Warlock with some random green level 13 staff. That, and if you know where to look, you can actually bag yourself some pretty sweet upgrades that provide you with some extra spell damage that will definitely help you with reaching max level. So, without further ado, let's get started. So when you begin your journey, all you get is a worn dagger, and that's really it. But as soon as we get to our mid-10s, things start to get interesting. You see, at that level range we're able to run Ragefire Chasm and get this, the Staff of Orgrimmar. A staff with 2 spirit and 4 intellect, which is a nice addition for any low-level warlock looking for a weapon that actually has some stats on it. The quest involved is called Hidden Enemies. Then a few levels later we get to a familiar weapon we've seen many times before, the Crescent Staff. It has a lot of good stats, including 7 stamina, 7 intellect and 7 spirit, and on top of that, you're not reliant on drops or rolls. It's a great staff that will give you a nice boost in terms of your stats, so it's pretty much a no-brainer. The quest for this is called Leaders of the Fang, and you'll have to do a Wailing Caverns run to complete it. Then we get to the mid-20s bracket, and we once again delve into Blackfathom Deeps, but this time not for the Outlaw Saber or anything, but for the other reward you can get, which is the Witch's Finger, which provides you with 7 intellect and 4 stamina. Now you do need to find yourself a main hand to combine this, and we'll get to that later. For now, it's a nice item to have in your bag, and since this quest gives you a lot of XP for completing it, you're pretty much going to run Blackfathom Deeps at least once, so you might as well pick this item up when you're at it. The quest for this is called Baron Aquinas. Speaking of Blackfathom Deeps, there is one staff that drops there that might spark your interest, the Rod of the Sleepwalker, which has 11 intellect and 10 spirit. So, while this doesn't have any stamina, like these extra 7 stamina the Crescent Staff gives you, it does give you more intellect and more spirit. Both have 21 extra stat points, so it really comes down to what you prefer. The Crescent Staff makes you less squishy, while this offers you a bigger mana pool and more mana regeneration. However, for a Warlock, there's more to be gained out of Blackfathom Deeps when it comes to weapons. I'm talking about the Staff of Soran'ruk and the Orb of Soran'ruk. The staff gives you 9 extra damage done by shadow and fire spells, while the orb gives you 4 extra damage done by shadow and fire spells, but also has a use that restores 25 health every 3 seconds for 30 seconds. These items can be obtained by doing a warlock specific quest called the Orb of Soran'ruk, and if you're looking to actually boost your damage rather than base stats, one of these items is probably a good pick. It requires you to go through Blackfathom Deeps and Shadowfang Keep though, so keep that in mind. Then at your late 20s, you can do a Razorfen crawl run and try to get this, the Swine Tusk Shank, which gives you 6 stamina and 4 spirit. Combine this with the Witch's Finger, and you'll have some great base stats that will be better than your good old Crescent Staff. Or, if you just so happen to have gotten the Orb of Soran'ruk, you now have a combination of base stats and increased damage done to provide you with a good all-round combo. Then a few levels later, in your mid-30s, you can go to a caster favorite dungeon, the Scarlet Monastery Library, as this dungeon will provide you with a few goodies. Starting off with this, the Hypnotic Blade. It offers 8 intellect, 3 spirit, and 9 damage and healing done. That 9 spell damage is really good at low level, because gear with spell damage is going to be very scarce until you get into the later levels. All in all, a great main hand for your Warlock. Another weapon that you can get is the well-known Illusionary Rod. Now while it doesn't offer you any spell damage, it does offer you 15 intellect, 10 spirit and 7 stamina, so it's still a really good item to go for. Just keep in mind that both the dagger and staff are really popular with pretty much every other caster class out there, so competition for this is high. But doing a library run doesn't take that much time, and it's very doable to just farm this dungeon a few times so you have multiple chances of getting one of these items. However, that is not all you can get from Scarlet Monastery Library in terms of weapons. You can also get this, the Omega Orb, which provides you with 11 spell damage. This involves a quest called Companion of the Fallen, and all it requires you to do is gather a book, which is very easy, so with one run, you are guaranteed a cool little offhand that will work great with that Hypnotic Blade if you just so happen to get that. Then in your late 30s, you can get another offhand and staff from yet another Warlock specific quest. The Staff of Dar Orahil and the Orb of Dar Orahil. The staff gives you 6 intellect, 3 stamina and 19 spell damage, while the orb on the other hand gives you 5 intellect, 14 shadow spell damage and a use that restores 40 health every 3 seconds for 30 seconds. Both are very potent items, and because they're part of a quest you won't have to worry about drops or rolls, so that's nice too. Then a few levels later we arrive in the mid 40s bracket, where you can try and get this, the Zumraz Vexing Cane from Zul'Farrak. A great staff with 10 intellect, 10 stamina and 21 spell damage. A really good item for any caster, which also means that there's a lot of competition with rolling for this item. Like the Illusionary Rod and the Hypnotic Blade from Scarlet Monastery, you can rest assured that any other caster in your group will roll on this as well, so you do have to be lucky and hope you roll the highest. Then in your early 50s you can get this sweet weapon from yet another Warlock specific quest, the Soul Harvester. Not only does this look pretty sweet, it has amazing stats. It provides you with 16 stamina, 1% extra chance to hit with spells, and 24 shadow spell damage. It requires you to do a Sunken Temple run, but luckily since it's a quest you're not dependent on drops or good rolls, so that's a plus. I'd say that this staff is an absolute must-have for any Warlock in their early 50s, and even at level 60 this is still a very good item, and sometimes even better than some weapons that drop in level 60 dungeons, so this will probably last you a long time. And now that we got that part of the weapons covered, it's time to go back to level 1, because we're going to check out some wands for our caster, since wands, especially at lower levels, will be a major source of DPS, so we have to check out a few of those as well. The very first wand you can get is as early as level 5, the Lesser Magic Wand. It has 11.3 DPS and has a 1.5 attack speed. This might not sound like much, but for some classes this does even more damage than their spells, so getting this as soon as possible is a very wise idea. This item, however, is made by enchanters, so you either have to have enchanting yourself or know someone who can make it for you for a small fee. Then in the late teens bracket we're having a look at this, the Fire Belcher, a wand with 20.3 DPS and a 1.7 attack speed. This is a major upgrade from the Lesser Magic Wand, but it is from the Wailing Caverns, and on top of that, it is from a rare spawn, so it is rather tricky to get. Still though, since it's such a good item, it's definitely something to look out for when going through that dungeon. Then in your mid-20s there's another item we can get out of Blackfathom Deeps, and that is the Gravestone Scepter. A great wand with 29 DPS, 1.5 attack speed, 1 spirit and 5 shadow resistance. And the cool thing is, it's not a drop, but part of a quest called Blackfathom Villainy. So basically one run of Blackfathom Deeps will almost guarantee you with a very powerful wand that will last you pretty long throughout your leveling journey from 1 to 60. Then in your late 30s you can try and get your hands on this, the Gnomish Zapper. A wand with 32.7 DPS and a fast 1.3 attack speed. This wand is part of a quest chain that's not too hard to get, so if you want to make a little detour to Valder's Cove in the Arathi Highlands, then this is worth checking out. The quest for this is called Sunken Treasure. Then we move on until we arrive in the early 40s bracket, where we find this, the Chill Nail Splinter, a wand with 31.7 DPS and 1.4 attack speed. This is part of a quest called Challenge Overlord Magmarok, and will offer you a nice upgrade if you're still rolling around with that Gravestone Scepter. After that we go to the early 50s bracket, where we can get a few options. First off, this, the Nature's Breath, a wand with 41.1 DPS, 1.4 attack speed, 6 intellect and 3 stamina. A nice little wand with actually some base stats for our Warlock, so that's a nice plus. It also involves a quest, so once again no rolls or drop chance required. It will require you to find a group though, because this is part of the Jinta Allure quests in the Hinterlands, so just keep that in mind. And on top of that, this probably won't be available when Classic launches, as this was added in with the Dire Maul patch, so keep that in mind as well. And there you go folks, some good daggers, staves, offhands and wands for your Warlock to pick up as you make your way from level 1 to 60. I hope I was able to help you Warlocks out there find some sweet items for whatever level range you're in, so you can dish out some nasty dot damage or big shadowable crits. As always, I want to thank you for watching this video. I'm Hamsterwheel and have a good one.